Tony Cruz, Cindy Sullivan, 84 at WHAS, being joined by the Director of Internal Medicine, Al Johnson. Hi, Al. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good to have you along with us. And so Cindy and I are reading this article. Is popcorn giving you heart disease? And then we learn about all this, what's called BPA exposure, PFOA. I won't even try that word. Cindy, do you want to try that one?
Sure, I can do perfluorooctanoic.
What do you think about that, Al? She's pretty good at this stuff. I mean, next thing you know, we're going to learn Greek together. But so what's going on with the stuff we're using to cook and the stuff that we're cooking?
It's how we're using the stuff in cooking our food. And this chemical, PFOA, is kind of a coating they put on the popcorn bags to keep it from absorbing the fats. And it's also contained in the non-stick cookware. In the past, they've decreased it so that when you heat it, you get this product, which is a breakdown product of the original product. And what happens is when you heat your popcorn bag, it volatilizes the chemical, gets in the popcorn, and then you ingest it, and you then have increased levels in your body. If you eat more than 10 bags of popcorn per year, about 20% of the PFAs found in your body is probably from the popcorn and not from other sources. It can be from water sources, other food sources, food packaging sources.
So, Dr. Johnson, we've talked for years about volatile organic compounds, and of course, I mean, popcorn, you're given a very specific example, but what about things like furniture and carpeting and that sort of thing? How do you get PFOAs in your bloodstream from those sorts of things?
Well, it's harder because unless it breaks down or you heat it, you don't get it as readily because it's used like in Gore-Tex to help have a water barrier in your clothing. But when you put it with food products where it undergoes temperature changes and heat, then it breaks down and tends to get into the foods and you tend to ingest it. It also can be in our water supplies when you're around plants that use it. It contaminates the water, contaminates the air, and then contaminates the soil around those plants that use it that put it out as a toxin in the air or in the water system. So these are areas that have stimulated research when people have lived around different plants and they've noticed different health effects. Then they do an epidemiological study and stimulate this type of information that helps us live a more healthy life.
So non-stick cookware, food wrappers, there's a lot of ways that we may be partaking of this PFOA. Specifically, what does it break down? What does it do to you? Does it give you cancer or what?
The studies mainly are done, of course, initially in animals. And yes, it's a carcinogen and it's a toxin. And it can affect the liver, it affects the development, fetuses, and it also affects the immune system in an adverse way. So there's many different effects that they have found in their research, and they're just looking further at what it does in humans. And this most recent study that was published saw that people with higher levels had increased cardiovascular disease.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we avoid it?
First is awareness, like you folks are doing, and then you need to avoid the use of products that contain it. And one big area is the popcorn bags, as I pointed out in this article. And so you go back to buying bulk popcorn and cooking it in glassware that's microwave safe, and pop your own that way, not use the convenient bags.
And, of course, get rid of that nonstick cookware. I mean, that's something that a long time ago there was the issue about the aluminum in the nonstick cookware. That's when I got rid of all mine, and I just use cast iron now. Yeah,
exactly. Stainless steel, cast iron, glass cookware is all safer, and it was it was a fluorinated type product that is the non-stick product in the pan that was giving the problem, and then the aluminum part of it is also a problem as they found increased aluminum in people with Alzheimer's disease. And so that's where the issue with the aluminum situation occurs. So yes, awareness, like you point out, is very, very important, and then taking action to use safer products.
Well, I mean, is this become a real issue in American life or culture? Is this, is this affecting like less than 2% of the American population, or are we talking about? I mean, I know most of us, 98% of us, have this in our bloodstream, but is it creating a problem for 70% of the 98% that have it in their bloodstream?
When we talk about toxins, we're talking about long-term effects, and so we really don't know. This product's been around for over 50 years, and it tends to bioaccumulate.
Right.
And so we will know more in the future. So the message now is try to protect yourself as best you can by being informed and using safer products.
On the cast iron thing that Cindy uses, let's say that she uses, is Pam got the stuff in it too, though? The sprays, or should you just use an olive oil or something?
Yeah, I can just use an olive oil. What happens with the sprays is that they may be, depending on what product it is, may be really safe, but you're aerosolize it, you get that, and you're breathing those, again, those chemicals in, which is not normal to breathe in, and we don't know all that's actually in the product. So it makes sense to go back to the more natural way of doing things so you don't breathe things in. Breathing chemicals in is the fastest way to get toxins in your body if those chemicals are toxins.
All right. Dr. Al, thanks. Appreciate it. Dr. Al Johnson, Director of Internal Medicine.